What's up, comic book community? My name is Joe, and this is 360 Comics. I found an amazing, mind-blowing comic book collection on Facebook Marketplace, and the best part about it was absolutely free. Stay tuned to see what I got. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up for a like, and leave a comment down below. That'll enter you to win our weekly giveaway, which is Action Comics #1, the 1988 50th anniversary reprint, and one more additional surprise book. I'll be picking a winner on Sunday live on Instagram, so make sure you enter by checking out this video as well as our other videos from the last 2 weeks. Also, make sure you go follow over on Instagram because we do claim sales once a week. In fact, we're doing one tonight, Friday night, just as normal, so we'll see you there. This was not the typical collection you find on Facebook Marketplace. It was kind of interesting because every single book was bagged and boarded, but none of them were taped, and they were all in these like printer paper boxes. Another thing to note is there was not a single book printed before 1994, and the majority of them were from the 2000s, so definitely a modern collection. To make a long story short, basically what happened was someone that I know sent me a link to a Facebook Marketplace ad for free comic books. And that is why you always let people in your life know that you collect comic books and you're looking to acquire more, because when they find out some information, they will pass it along to you. That being said, I reached out to the poster of this ad, and I didn't hear back for a few hours, and I thought that maybe someone else had gotten them already. But eventually I got that message back, and I was really happy about that. She told me she had about 17 or so boxes. There ended up being 19, all with at least 100 books in each box, so definitely over the 2,000 book mark, and that I could come pick it up in a few days. And those few days were rough. I'll be honest. I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to get them. I was daydreaming about, what could be in there. The whole mystery of going through a collection was going through my head for a few days. That being said, Friday rolled around, and I headed over to her place and helped her load the comics into my car. And it was at this point that I found out, unfortunately, that these had been her husbands who had passed away a few years ago. This guy clearly loved comic books. There were full runs of things. Everything was taken care of, bagged and boarded. And, it is a terrible situation when someone passes on, but I'm glad that, I could receive these comic books, and I'm going to give a ton of them away to kids on Halloween, and I'm going to have a bunch more available to the community and stuff in sales and giveaways and all that, so I'm going to definitely pass on a little bit of that comic book love. Anyway, I got home, I started going through it, and I realized that there was actually a decent amount of value in here, despite it being all modern books. And that being said, I reached back out to the person who gave me these comic books, and I said, I would like to give you some money for this. There's great stuff in here, awesome runs, great comic books, key issues, and she actually turned it down. She said that she did not want money, but that I could give any money that I would give to her to the local SPCA, an animal charity, and I thought that was a great idea. An awesome way to, just pass it along to someone else or something else that needs it more. And, I did do the donation in her husband's name as well, just to, memorialize him and his incredible comic collection that he had. So anyway, let's get into what I got. Starting off with some Star Wars Tales of the Jedi #1, and this one is a book that's been up and down. We know we're getting a Tales of the Jedi show. We don't know that it's necessarily going to be based upon these characters or if it's just going to be the namesake only. So we'll have to see, but it actually had the whole run, 5 issues of Tales of the Jedi. Also was X-Wing Rogue Squadron #1. That, I don't think the whole run was in there. I think just this issue. But this is, I believe, like a minor key or something like that. Solo Wedge Antilles story. Great cover as well. And this one, again, was a book that went up in value and then has since calmed down with the decline in the market after the comic boom. Then we've got Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures. This is a free comic book day book, and this is the first appearance of General Grievous, who's depicted on the front. Normally, when you see this book, more often than not, you see it stamped here because this is a free comic book day book. A lot of stores will put their stamp on it, as kind of a way to promote. And fortunately, this store did not do that with this copy, and it is a nice high-grade book. Usually, the older comic books from Free Comic Book Day, when they're in high grade and unstamped, they're worth quite a bit because, they're harder to find like that as opposed to the stamped ones. So always look out. And then you'll see a couple in this video that are stamped as well, including this one, unfortunately. This is Star Wars Clone Wars, not Clone Wars Adventures, the free comic book day book. And this is the first appearance of, what's his name? Oppress something. Man, I'm forgetting. But Darth Maul's brother, Yellow Darth Maul, if you will. And this is a free comic book day book. And now you got to be careful with this one because the stamp is actually on the back of the book. And I'm going to pull it out real quick right here just to show you. Yeah, right there up on the top. And you can see this one actually is stamped. This is quite possibly the first appearance of Avatar, The Last Airbender in comics. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think someone mentioned that to me one time. So, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. This book can get very expensive, but unfortunately with the stamp on it, it is not nearly as much. Moving on to some DC and another book that has a stamp on it right there. Brave New Worlds. That's my local comic shop too. So this guy actually shopped at the same place that I go on a weekly basis, and I play Magic there. This is the New 52 free comic book day book, and this is the first appearance of Simon Baz. Again, hard to find in high grade due to that stamp. So if you can find one without the stamp, you are in good shape. Moving on to some more DC, we got Batman #1 from the New 52 run. Scott Snyder, who is it? Greg Capullo goodness here. Really, really awesome run, including the Court of Owls and all that stuff. And this #1 has been a hot book ever since, despite it not being like the first appearance of a major character or anything like that. Then we've got from Vertigo, Lucifer #1. The Sandman universe is definitely hot right now given the show. And, this is just the first solo Lucifer comic book, and this holds a pretty nice value as far as the Vertigo books go. Then we got Earth 2 #19, first appearance of Val Zod, and there's been rumors, maybe even some news for a while, that Michael B. Jordan might be doing something with the Val Zod character. I haven't heard any news recently, though, but it has been talked about over the last few years. So hopefully we'll end up seeing that on the big screen. But that is a pretty solid DC key. Then we're going to kind of transition a little bit to Marvel here. But first, we got to do a crossover, SpiderMan and Batman. This is just a great 90s crossover to pick up. It's got a cool embossed cover, really great cover art, and Spider-Man, hands down the most popular Marvel character. Batman, hands down the most popular DC character. Those two together in a book, can't go wrong with that, right? Also, as far as crossovers go, we've got DC versus Marvel, issues 1 through 4, the complete limited series. These spiked like crazy during the comic boom and have come down considerably. A pretty affordable set at this point, even in high grade. And those, in fact, are really nice high-grade copies. Now, we're all the way done with the DC stuff already. In fact, there was only one long box of DC stuff in total. I was really surprised about that because it came out to, I think, about 11 long boxes of stuff. So just one DC. Very, very interesting. There was probably only 2 indie. And then the rest was Marvel, so let's get into that. We got Secret Avengers #19. This is the first appearance of the Mr. Knight persona, although he is not yet called Mr. Knight in this one. He's still referred to as Moon Knight, but he does have, the vest and the no hood, the sleek suit. But we saw that in the show. That is Stephen Grant's Moon Knight persona, so I thought that was a really cool book to have in here. And this is a book that I've actually never found in the wild, even before the whole Moon Knight explosion happened. Then we got Secret Wars #2, first appearance of God Emperor Doom. It did have the full Secret Wars run, but this is really the chase book from there. We know we're getting a movie. They might take parts from this. They might take parts from the 80s Secret Wars. They might take parts from both. We'll have to wait and see. But nonetheless, great key to have as far as a modern book. Then we got Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man #1. This is the second solo Miles run. The first one with Miles Morales in the title, because the first one is just called Ultimate All New Spider-Man. And look at this cover. I think it's a Pacelli cover, probably. Really awesome book. And I actually had a lot of this run in there, but this is really the chase book from the run, the #1. Then we got Immortal Iron Fist, #8. Is this 8? 8, yes. First appearance of Fat Cobra. This book has been hot in the last few years because of the television show Hit Monkey and the appearance of Fat Cobra in that. And it's also a really phenomenal run with amazing artwork, very unique looking covers. So always look out for those Immortal Iron Fist books. Next up, we've got Marvel Now, .1, #1. There's 8,000 different point now, one exclamation mark. Oh, I lose track of all of them. But this one is the first cover appearance of America Chavez. She's over here on one of the case files. Really small, but nonetheless a first cover appearance. And it's definitely got a great cover with Nick Fury. Then we got Thor #617. This is the first appearance of Kid Loki. Definitely a character that we've now seen in the MCU and who may end up coming back as part of a Young Avengers team or something like that. That would be pretty cool. There is a variant of this book, by the way, a Tron variant that's a 1 in 15 that is very expensive and hard to find in high grade. And I actually just found one in just sitting in my comic room the other day. I had no idea I even had it. It was just in a collection that I had bought. Speaking of Thor, this is Thor #8. This is the issue where the female version of Thor is revealed to be Jane Foster. We see her throughout this run, but it's not until this issue that we find out that it's Jane Foster. This actually holds almost as much value as Thor #1, her first true appearance as Jane Foster, and MCU related again. Definitely a good one. Then we got Captain America, all new Captain America, #1. This is the first solo Sam Wilson Captain America book. We're going to see this in Captain America 4. I have very high expectations for that movie, so this is definitely a book that is a good one to have right now. Then we've got New Avengers #4. This is the first appearance of Maria Hill. It's also a really great Spider-Woman cover, and for some reason it seems to be less valuable than this, which is the second appearance of Maria Hill. If someone could explain that to me, why this is a more coveted book. Is it a cameo situation? Is like the first one considered a cameo and this considered the first true appearance? Because Key Collector says the previous book is the first appearance and this is the second appearance. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but nonetheless, Maria Hill, she's been a staple in the MCU for quite a while now, and she's going to continue to be a major player, especially given Secret Invasions is coming soon. Then we got Young Avengers #1. This is from Volume 2. This is not the first appearance of Kate Bishop and the Young Avengers. This is Volume 2, first appearance of a new team, and this team definitely is a team that could show up. Kid Loki was part of this team. America Chavez as Miss America. I think Hulkling, Iron Lad, and Kate Bishop were the other ones. I might be missing someone, but nonetheless, great book. Young Avengers Volume 2, #1, and I love this cover. Moving on to some Fantastic Four. This is Fantastic Four #54 from Volume, I think this is Volume 3. Late 90s volume. This is the first appearance of Valeria Richards, the daughter of Sue Richards and Reed Richards. A lot of people specking on Franklin Richards coming. Definitely a possibility that this character shows up as well. Only time will tell what is coming to the MCU. In fact, John Krasinski playing Reed Richards did mention, I have kids. I believe he said plural kids as well. So there's a good chance, I think, that we will see not just one of those two offspring, but both of them. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And next up, we've got Nova number 8. This is the first appearance of Nowhere, a location that has been utilized in the MCU. And speaking of Nova, we've got Nova number 1 here. This is the first solo Sam Alexander Nova, and it's definitely got what I would call a classic cover. This one is so recognizable and very in tune with Nova the character. Then we've got Secret Avengers number 23. I believe the key significance of this book is Agent Venom joins the Secret Avengers. I think that's the key significance. I'm blanking on this one right now. Maybe it's not. I'm second guessing myself. So let me know in the comments below if you know what the key to this book is. Then we got Fantastic Four. Ultimate Fantastic Four, number 21, first cameo appearance of the Marvel Zombies. They are not on the cover of this one, and it's just their cameos. So the next issue, 22, is the one that holds the most value. Unfortunately, that one was not in here. Then we're moving on to Avengers number 12, really awesome cover, and the issue where Tony Stark wields the Infinity Gauntlet, and classic storyline, utilized in the MCU, all that stuff. Then we've got Groot, number 5. This one was a surprise. I didn't know about this key, but this is the first appearance in full of Groot as a little sapling. And, obviously we've seen the I Am Groot shorts, and in my opinion, they're really great. They're 5-minute little shorts on Disney Plus. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. I definitely recommend going and watching them. They're very fun. Show your kids, yada, yada. Then we got Fantastic Four number 19, or FF number 19. This is the first appearance of Oname, and she is a character from Wakanda, and she is a genius, and she's part of the World Engineering Brigade in the Web of Spider-Man comics, and she's part of Avengers Campus in Disney World, Disneyland. I think this character will be one that is utilized going forward. We might even see her in Black Panther. Fingers crossed, because I've got a couple copies of this book waiting in the wind just in case that happens. Then we've got New Avengers number 27. This is the first appearance of Clint Barton as Ronan. A bunch of people have taken on that role, but in the MCU, we've seen Clint as Ronan, and this is the first appearance of that character, even on the cover as well. There was another book in here. I didn't pull it out for this, but there was the first appearance of Maya Lopez as Ronan, which is a great storyline involving Wolverine as well, if you ever had a chance to read it. Then we've got the New Avengers number 7. This book was so hot earlier this year and late last year. First appearance of the Illuminati, and Multiverse of Madness was, in my opinion, great. I love the cameo appearances of those characters, and I think this book will hold some long-term value. It's come down, certainly, but I think going forward, it will always be remembered as a key with an MCU tie, a major character group, and who knows, maybe we'll see more of them in the future of the MCU. Then we've got Hawkeye number 1. This is from the famed Matt Fraction run, which is very closely tied to the Hawkeye television show that we got last year. I'm a big fan of this run. I'm a big fan of that show. I think it's all great stuff. So I'm very happy to finally have this, because I've never had a copy of just the regular floppy. I have the trade paperback version of this. Then we got Black Panther number 1 from the 1999 or 2000 maybe Marvel Knights run, and I almost just spilled all these. That would not have been good. But this is the first appearance of the Dora Milaje, first appearance of Nakia, and again, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, is coming soon. We know that these characters are going to be very featured characters. I think this is a super great book to have right now. I have a couple copies, and I'm thinking about getting at least one of them graded for my personal collection, because some of them are pretty high grade. We got Black Widow number 1 here. This is the first crossover, or first team up or whatever, between Natasha and Elena, and this has the Natasha cover. There also is, I think there's a Yelena cover, and I think there might be a cover with both of them, if I remember correctly. I'm not really sure if that third one exists or if I'm just imagining it. But either way, great book. First kind of solo Yelena book right after she was introduced. And speaking of, we'll get to that soon. This is Sunfire and Big Hero 6, #1. First appearance of Big Hero 6. This was adapted into a show, not exactly based on the comics, but definitely based upon the characters in these comics. And yeah, it was a very, very popular movie. Did I say show? I think it was a movie. It definitely was a movie. Really, really popular with kids like 10 years ago when it came out. I'm not even sure when. But definitely a good long-term one, because they'll probably end up doing more with that in the future. Then we've got Hulk #1 from 2008. First appearance, albeit only on the cover, because in the story he's not Red Hulk yet until issue 2. But first appearance of Thunderbolt Ross as the Red Hulk. This is the book that holds the most value, even though #2 is technically the first in-story appearance. This cover and the fact it's a #1 definitely make it the key to grab. This book was way up. This book has come way down, especially after the passing of Thunderbolt Ross actor William Hurt. But we've heard that General/Secretary Ross will be reprised by maybe Harrison Ford. Fingers crossed. I think that would be a really cool recast, and it would be awesome if they utilize that character as part of the Thunderbolts team or something like that, the Red Hulk. Anyway, we got one more book before we get to the big ones, because I saved 3 for last. This one right here, Inhumans #5. First appearance of Yelena Belova, who is the Black Widow. We've seen her in the MCU in a couple projects now, including Hawkeye and the Black Widow movie, and she is clearly the Black Widow of the future as far as future Avengers teams and MCU projects go. So this book probably is a good one to have long term. This one, I am almost certainly getting this graded. It is beautiful. So, moving on to the last 3 books, the best 3 keys of the group. First up, we've got Ultimate, all-new Spider-Man #1, still in the poly bag. This is the first solo Miles story and Miles' second appearance overall. He only appeared in Ultimate Fallout 4 prior to this. Then he was in this book and had his own run for a while. And this book's huge. It is huge. It was really, really high up there. Again, as the market has settled as a whole, this book has come down, but it is still a very, very coveted book, especially in high grade. You got to be careful with these polybagged books because you don't know what it's going to look like when you open it up. But definitely this one is going to get cracked open, and I'm going to see if it's worth sending in. Hopefully it will be. Then this one right here, this was actually right on the top of one of the boxes, literally the top book. So I took off the lid of the box, and this thing was staring back at me. This is Adam, Legend of the Blue Marvel, #1. First appearance of Adam, and, this book was crazy hyped. It is a very low print run, so if this character ever does come to a project, this book will likely be very expensive, even more expensive than it already is, due to the fact that there aren't a lot, of copies out there. This one's getting graded, without a doubt. I think it could attain 9.6, 9.8 grade, so this one, it has to go out there. Fingers crossed on that. We'll have an unboxing video at some point soon for a lot of these books. And that one, I don't know if it's going to stay PC with me or if it's something that I'm going to, get rid of in order to pick something else up. But we'll have to wait and see, depending on what the grade comes back as. Last but not least, you saw it. Oh, it's upside down. What an idiot. Ultimate Fallout 4. I had it in the thumbnail. I needed people to know that this book was in here. This book was in a free comic book collection. This is an absolute grail for so many people. This is a modern age blue chip key. The first appearance of Miles Morales. There's not much else to say about this. High grade book. Definitely going to get clean, pressed, and sent in to get graded. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to come back as. It's got a couple issues, but they probably are pressable. So we're going to have to wait and see. Definitely stay tuned for, a future unboxing with a lot of these modern books, because it's going to be really great. There's a lot of big keys that, I'm sending in, not just the stuff that you saw today, but other stuff that I've had waiting in the wind to go out for a modern fast track. So let's hope that there's some good grades that come back. Anyway, like I said, Facebook Marketplace, of all places, got me this free comic book collection. Absolutely insane. Usually you find trash on Facebook Marketplace. Usually everything's overpriced or just junk. This was truly amazing. Huge thank you to the person who gave it to me. Not even sold it to me, gave it to me. And, a big thanks and dedication to her husband, who spent years and years collecting and caring for these comic books. I'm glad that I was able to give back in some way through a donation. And like I said, I'm going to be giving out comic books on Halloween to the kids that come through the neighborhood. So I think that would be a really cool way to get some new collectors in, and this is a perfect supply of comic books. I definitely have to screen them first and make sure that they are kid appropriate. But I'll probably have a pile for like the younger kids, and then a pile for like the preteens, and then maybe a couple for teenagers, just in case they're coming around as well. So yeah, that's it, guys. This was, I probably spent close to 20 hours sorting this collection and, getting kind of organized here. And I still have to tape all these books down. It's going to be a lot more work, but certainly worth it in the end. A big boost to my personal collection, some stuff to sell, some stuff to give away. Amazing. And, funded a good cause, the ASPCA, for the the protection of animals and the care of animals. So awesome. Anyway, please leave a comment, like, subscribe, turn the notifications on, follow on Instagram, all that stuff. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.